Well, hi and welcome to my beautiful office. Today's subject is the Osmo Action Camera. Now, it's not a full review because, let's face it, there are hundreds of reviews out on the Osmo in great detail about its functionality and all those sort of things, because it's been out for quite some years. I simply want to talk about my experience with it after having it for 12 months, my likes and dislikes, what it's doing for me as far as YouTube videos and for wildlife B-roll as well. Well, first off, I'd like to say it is a big part of my armoury now with wildlife for B-roll. Now, I study photograph and film a small carnivorous marsupial, and I've always wanted something that was small and indiscreet that'd fit under bark, because that's where my subject likes to go and look for insects. So I want to put it in places where it goes to where a video camera like my XF400 just simply can't go. And also because I want to make a wildlife documentary and I needed to get some skills up in that area, I'm using YouTube as that vehicle to help me out there to do my apprenticeship. So I needed something that was lightweight, easy to use, that was fun to use, would give me great B-roll by putting it into hollow logs, sticking it up on trees and branches and all those sort of fun things without a huge weight. Because in the past, I would do YouTube videos with my XF400 and my XF300. So having them on a tripod on my shoulder all the time I'm walking around. XF300 with the tripod, 7 kilos. XF400 on a tripod, 5 kilos. Wear and tear on my neck. If I'd take you with me on adventures, I'd do a 3 or 4 day hike. I've got that on my shoulder for 7 hours at a time, wandering, making my way to my destination. It'd pull the muscles in my neck eventually. They'd get sore, and same with my arm. And I'd end up not particularly enjoying my experience because I'm being tortured by this camera on my shoulder. So having this would alleviate all those problems, and it certainly has. I've massively enjoyed not carrying around a bloody video camera on my shoulder. Now, I'm yet to go on a really long distance hike, but the hiking that I have done before this lockdown crap come in with COVID, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And even just coming out into the reserve, I'm not bringing my video camera anymore. Main reason is I have enough footage. I don't need really any more of my subject or on the reserve, or bits and pieces. I've pretty much stopped now. So not taking it out has been a joyful experience. Only having this to cart around, really enjoying my time out in the forest more. It's just so light and compact. and it takes seconds to set up. Where a video camera, you got to muck around for a fair while. Right, so once you put it in with a setup like this, so a cage that's on a selfie stick come tripod, that it just increases the fun factor with B-roll. It just makes it so that I can put it in even more locations. It's all up to my imagination what I do with it as far as that's concerned. Now, why did I choose the Osmo over the GoPro and the Insta360? And when I look at things online that I'm interested in, I will check them out on as many videos as I possibly can. I want a broad spectrum of views on it. So different people's opinion. Then from that, I make my own opinion on whether or not the item is what I want or whether to dismiss it. So with that said, I checked the GoPro out first because that's the biggest seller on the market. Everybody wants it. Lots of reviews out there about it. So after checking them out, I come to the conclusion it wasn't for me because of two factors. It wasn't reliable. A ton of people were saying you would be filming and it'd turn itself off and then you couldn't start it again. Or they went to get it going and it wouldn't start. It'd just randomly do it and there's nothing you could do, taking the battery out or anything like that, would fix it. It just wouldn't come on, and then all of a sudden it would come on. The other one, which is quite a big deal for me, is a lot of complaints about how it downloads its files onto your laptop or your computer. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 30 files, all should go in line, but they weren't. They were getting thrown all over the place. So your second clip could be down right at the end or in the middle, who knows. That was the big complaint, and that was sealed the deal for me not getting it. The Insta360, complaints about a slightly softer image than the Osmo and the GoPro. But the bigger one was it's simply not waterproof because it's modular. Yes, you can buy a waterproof case for it and all that. I'm not interested in that because that means that I can't do audio. So it was out of the picture and the Osmo was left. Reliable, puts the files onto your computer the way they should be. Functionality is very quick and simple to use. Even though it's a tiny little screen at the back, you can see everything reasonably well. And yeah, I have no complaints with the functionality of the camera at all. The most important thing with the camera is the image quality and the dynamic range that it has. What category do I put this camera in as far as image quality goes? It's good, so it's a good solid image. No, it does not compete with my XF400, but it doesn't need to. I mean, it's a tiny, small form factor. You're not going to get a big sensor in there. So it's a good solid image in good lighting conditions. For me, that's really all I wanted because it is for YouTube, but it still had to be a solid, reasonable image for my B-roll with my subject, the Agile Antechinus. So quick, short little clips that are well lit. So I put a little light in under the bark if I needed to, or wherever else it's going. As long as I've got good lighting and that, we're getting a clean image and we're not getting noise and artifacts. It's beautiful for that. I can use it in my documentary in a professional fashion. Dynamic range. My thoughts on dynamic range. Now, when you have a camera that's not real good with dynamic range, your skin will be white and it'll blow out pretty easy. So in standard mode, it's not usable as far as I'm concerned, as far as dynamic range goes. And we have a high dynamic range mode, but it looks weird to me. It looks artificial and funny looking. Bit hard to explain, but I just don't like it. So I use semi-D-like. A semi-D-like is a flat image. No sharpening, no colour added, no contrast. So it's a good base to start with, and it's easy in Premiere Pro to make up a profile that I regularly use. It's pretty decent. No, it is not fantastic. I would say, as far as dynamic range goes, it would be 10. 12 is awesome, and beyond that is just amazing. So 10 is okay, and we can get away with it to a certain degree. My skin doesn't blow out too much, and it looks fine. If it is too harsh a light, well, let's just get into the shade and work that out. Now, I film myself in this environment, in a forest environment. I'm sitting out in the open at the minute, but a lot of times I'll be talking to the camera walking down through the track in the reserve. That means I'm going in and out of the shade. So occasionally there are slight artifacts in it. It's not very pleasing sometimes, but a lot of times it's usable and it's fine. I just have to be aware of all that and check it over and make sure it's all right. But so as far as dynamic range goes, we're in that midsection where it's okay, just be careful. Now, what's this camera like with voice command? It has its days where it really doesn't want to listen to me. It'll do a command and then it won't do a command. But that's not very often. It's not a deal breaker at all. It's not something really to worry about. I use voice command occasionally, and it's good most of the time. So I'd say 90% of the time it'll listen to you. And it's really great when it's freezing cold conditions, when I'm holding it just as a selfie like this, and I've got my thick winter gloves on, waterproof gloves on, and it's a little hard to sort of find the button sometimes with my fingers. So just giving it a simple command in those sort of conditions is when I use it a lot. And it'll also take a picture if you want. So you might be filming yourself and I don't have to press a button. I'll just simply say, take a shot, and it'll do it. Now, is there anything I hate about the Osmo? Well, no, but there are things that annoy me. When we're doing our quick swap from the back monitor to the front monitor, the button at the side, when I do that, every now and then it'll change over to a different mode, so photo mode or hyperlapse or something like that. That's annoying because I've got to go back to the back screen, change it all, and then hopefully when I come back it'll stay in video mode. Internally we can't do anything about that. You can't have nothing on that. It's like a quick swap button, so you're supposed to come to the front monitor and then press it again to change modes. But yeah, I can't deactivate that, and that is extremely annoying. There's no headphones jack and there's no audio control. So when I'm out in the field and I want to have a listen, I can't tell whether there's audio problems or not until I get home and it's too late. Now, how long does a battery last for? Well, an hour and 15 minutes at the most, which is a little annoying when I'm doing my B-roll stuff with wildlife. So having it under the bark and waiting for my subject to turn up, an hour and 15 minutes just isn't long enough. I need at least 2 hours, but that's the way it is. Now, working with the mobile phone to activate it and to get the exposure right when it's under bark or inside logs and things like that, it works beautifully. Reception can be a little low because of course it's better with line of sight, but as long as I'm up close, no more than 3 meters away, most of the time it works really well. So what's my overall opinion on the Osmo Action Camera as far as usability and fun factor? Well, I have to say, I love it. It goes with me everywhere. fun and easy to use, sets up in seconds. Now when I use it for my YouTube videos, when I take you on my adventures, whether that's overnight hiking or whatever, I have no hesitation at all about using this for B-roll and getting lots of it. In the past, I'd hesitate and probably not do a lot because it's my video camera. It takes a little time to set up, make sure everything's okay. Where with this, there's just not a thought of that. I just simply set it up into a log, get it rolling, I walk past, get my B-roll shot, extend out the selfie stick, put it up into a V of a branch, get a bird's eye view of myself going past. Walking over a bridge, I'll set this up in the water so we get a view of the creek up close. So I'll just have the water coming up to the bottom of the lens there. Easy to set up because we have these legs, it's a tripod. If it's down in the deep water, I simply lift it up or whatever I want to do with it. And then I simply walk over the bridge. I'm getting beautiful B-roll, adding a lot of value to my YouTube videos. It's just amazing and awesome to use. Putting it into situations for B-roll for my wildlife documentary. Well, that's just been amazing. Absolutely love it. Birds nesting. I can put it right up close to most of them. A lot of birds, they'll tolerate something like this because it's tiny and indiscreet. It doesn't look like it's going to harm them or anything. Some get a little nervous, but I know those sort of birds and I avoid them anyway. If I used the XF400, there's no way known that the Agile will go near it, it'll frighten it, birds won't like it, and the list goes on. So having this for that, just been bloody brilliant. So the Osmo Action Camera certainly fits all of my needs. It's reliable, it can go anywhere. If I suddenly want to talk to the camera for a YouTube video and it's pouring as rain, I can do that. There's no hassles at all. Using it for wildlife, giving me that really nice bit of B-roll that I've wanted for some years, that is just an extra added bonus. It's awesome. Now, is there anything I'd like to see changed on the Osmo if they make another version? Well, of course there is. I want that headphones jack. I want to have audio control. If they want to put a bigger sensor in there and give us even better quality, I ain't going to complain about that neither, even if they make it slightly bigger to accommodate that. That wouldn't worry me at all. It's just a great selfie camera, and for my wildlife, just awesome. So that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel and get more of this amazing stuff, click on my pretty little face just down in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Hit the little bell, you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And if you like this video, please give it a like. It'll help my channel grow a lot, so I'd really appreciate that. Now if you want to go and have a look at all the mad and crazy things I've been doing over the years, click on my icon right here at the end of this video. It'll take you to my channel. There's over 100 videos to choose from. I talk about photographing, filming in a forest environment, give you lots of tips there. Go on adventures, I always take you with me. Oh, the list goes on and on. I talk about camera gear and all those sort of things, give you my opinion on them. So go and have a browse, there'll be something there of interest to you, I am sure. Just stay away from that bloody coronavirus stuff and stay safe. And like I always say, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there and start photographing and filming wildlife. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.